I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. If you open your window late at night, you could see the gang fights in the street where people were swinging baseball bats, they were using garbage can lids for shields and chains, and you know, I mean, it was wild. I mean, growing up in New York City back in those days, you know, we didn't have drive-bys. People, when they had a beef, they settled it like this, you know, man to man, you know. They beat the crap out of each other, you know. They might have used a stick, they might have used a tire iron, but they were there facing you. They didn't shoot you from a drive-by car or from far away. I think there was a little more honor in the fights, man to man. I was in the Navy, and that's where I met Narrie Babao. But being in the Navy, you get to travel. So, you know, I've been to Hong Kong, Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, and guess what? When everybody was going out drinking, I go, okay, where's the martial arts? You know, I'm looking for the Thai fighters, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that. You're always looking for something new to learn. I first got introduced to martial arts probably around 1974. I was 20 years old. It was judo. I was with the security police with the US Navy, and that was part of the training. I was in Guam. Okay, I've been around the world, you know, quite a few times, right? So I was in Guam. I had reported for duty on this tugboat, and I see these guys working out, and I go, hey, can I join? And they go, sure, here, stand over here and get in a horse stance, and we'll get back to you. And they're working out, I'm in a horse stance, they're shaking, shaking, shaking. And of course, you know, he told me, if you get out of that horse stance, I'm not teaching you. So I'm there, I'm shaking, tears coming out of my eyes, you know, the pain. I mean, it was, but if you want it bad enough, you'll go through the pain. You know, that was old time training, because he was getting us ready for when we got to the Philippines. My first Filipino martial art was Arnis 63 Generals. It's from the southern part of the Philippines. When I was taught that, I had never seen it before. I was stopping off in Baguio. I was taken up there by Ricardo Mendoza, who was teaching me a karate system called the Black Masters Sphinx Karate Clan of the Philippines style. And so when he took us up there for intensive training, this is his homeland, the Grand Master of the system was Jimmy Galez in the Philippines. And Ricardo Mendoza was a 6th degree black belt under him, and that's who taught me. And then the instructors came out and they all started taking turns teaching us, and then one of them came out with the sticks, and he started teaching us sticks. And after that, man, that's it. That's my art. I want to learn sticks, you know. Lock and strike, right? So if I'm in here. In that style, I trained 10 years solid, and then I got transferred, and of course that style wasn't there anymore. So I took Kyokushinkai karate for about 2 years, and then after that I met Narrie Babao, and I became Narrie's private student for 4 years, private, just me and him. And when you're training under somebody that's a stickler for, that's the way it's done, you know, nope, that number one's not correct. You're gonna do number one until I feel that I like it, you know? And so it wasn't quantity, it was quality. So from Narrie Babao, I learned the Arnis Kuntao, and his father style, Arnis Batangas. Then I met Philip Pabalinas, and he was a modern Arnis and Ocho system. In exchange for me training him in Arnis Kuntao, he trained me in his Ernesto Presa style and the Ocho system. And basically, I took what he learned, what he taught me, and then retaught it back to him, improved, you know? So we became really close friends, and then I moved to Hawaii. And in Hawaii, I went with a recommendation from Narrie Babao to go to Snookie Sanchez. On the way there, he says, you need to go pay your respects to Grandmaster Pedoy. And so when I got there, you know, I got a fruit basket and all of that to go pay my respects, because supposedly he was retired at the time. He was 89. And he goes, I see from the way you are that you really want to learn. And I go, yeah. So he kind of put his hand on my head, and he goes, I'll teach you. And so I went there to learn from one person, ended up learning from somebody else. But that didn't stop me from associating with him, with Greg Lantayao, with a lot of the Villa Braille students, and Frank Mamalayas, and I mean, all the Hawaii Eskrima. There's not a lot of that here, because it's in Hawaii and they're not leaving. And so I was like the first one to bring Derobio outside of Hawaii. You can be there, you can control, all right? And I learned Derobio in Hawaii, but it comes from the island of Leyte. And of course, Grandmaster Pedoy left Leyte in 1927, and that's when he arrived in Hawaii. And he came with somebody else's sailor papers, right? Because, you know, that's how they did things back then, you know? And so his name back then was Escotor, not Braulio Pedoy, you know? And so he didn't take his name back until after World War II, because he was actually asked by the US military after the bombing of Pearl Harbor to train soldiers to go fight the Japanese. You know, a lot of times when, if I'm in here, you already... Derobio, it's a French word. Basically, what Derobio means is rhythm of the horse, right? And that's why you see the horse. And so it's like when you hear the horse on cobblestones, just like sticks hitting, you know? So rhythm of the horse, you know? Okay, so Majapai has a couple of different meanings. You know, some people go, oh, Majapahit Empire. But actually, it's my name. In Chinese, Ma, for Medina, right? Majapai, right? Medina's family system. Majapai also stands for the word horse. Horse family system, right? So rhythm of the horse, horse family system. And basically what Majapai is a combination of me giving credit to all the different Filipino grandmasters that have taught me. So instead of saying Medina's system, you know, I'm going Majapai, horse family system, you know, to represent everybody. So I want everybody to get credit, because I don't get here without them, right? Everybody thinks that, oh yeah, I made it on my own. No, you did not. You made it because somebody gave you the knowledge. And so don't forget where your knowledge came from, right? Give respect to the ones that came before you and the ones that came before them. Don't forget, because you forget your history. He is going to try to take my head off or break my collarbone. Well, what makes us different is that we tend not to go force to force, right? Instead of meeting the energy, we get behind the energy. And by doing that, basically your target is not there, right? You go to strike a target and it's not there. And so our goal is to make you miss. When you strike, I'm gonna move very minimal and your stick is just gonna go by, and then I'm gonna be in the right position to take advantage of your going, wait, where did the target go? And then it's too late, right? The other thing is in our counter to counter. You might call it stick grappling or whatever. We work it in flow to where you're just going as fast as you can go. Somebody applies a counter technique on you and you have to counter them and lock them. And we have a basic 144 counter locks. And so that's what makes us different. And then of course is the application of pain during those counter locks, so that it makes you forget where you are. It's the positioning. I'm not gonna stand in front of you, especially if you're bigger than me, right? And so what I wanna do is, I guess I call it the old man style, because when I'm an old man, I'm gonna still be able to use it. And it doesn't matter how young or how fast you are, it just matters where I am after you finish striking. You know? It's supposed to feel like. The pain, the guy will tell you when you're doing it right. I love teaching, and I like teaching stuff that people haven't been exposed to before, right? Because everybody knows how to block the stick. You know, block, hit, you know? We can all do that. It's the deeper part of the art, you know, that, you know, is sometimes we forget how deep this art can be, you know? And so I like to expose people to all the different possibilities of what's available to them. And of course, pain, you know? I love teaching pain. The thing about pain is that since jiu-jitsu came along, right? Everybody going, oh, fights always end up in a clinch, right? Well, even in stick fighting, sometimes you end up in a clinch. So what do you do from a struggling position in a clinch when you still have your weapon? And so you still use your weapon, right? And so you use your weapon as a lever to create leverage. So if I have more leverage than you have with my weapon, then I put you at a disadvantage. And so to every lock, there is a key. Derobio is the master key. We all want to reach that plateau where you become famous, because you're not going to get rich doing martial arts, you know. So my goal is I just want people to know what a beautiful, effective, and deadly art the Filipino martial arts are. You know, so I just want people to know how rich in culture, how rich in, you know, everybody was always talking about karate, kung fu, judo. Nobody knew what Eskrima was, FMA was. And even when I lived in the Philippines, it was hard to find. People wanted to learn karate. They wanted to learn what was the next newest thing. But they didn't realize that the best thing they had was homegrown, their own Filipino martial arts. Since 1978, from the first day I encountered Filipino martial arts, I knew that it was special. And to this day, I still think it's one of the most special things to ever enrich my life. Because to me, Filipino martial arts have been good. Derobio Eskrima has been good to me. And my wish is to just spread it. Let other people feel the goodness that can come from it. You know? The first time I met Bobby Taboada was at the Hall of Fame Awards in Orlando. He was getting the, like one of the top Hall of Fame awards. and I was getting the Eskrima Instructor of the Year or something like that. You know, I kind of knew him already from kind of seeing him on video, because I actually have video of him from the 60s. I have the whole video that was shot throughout the Philippines, and it shows all the different systems, and as everything on Balintawak is on there. So all the Grand Masters of Balintawak are on there. It's all in 16 millimeter. And I have like a first generation copy, and everything is clear and clean. When I heard about Balintawak that he was getting the award, I went and introduced myself, and we have pictures together from being at the Hall of Fame Awards. And then after I wrote my book, Mark Wiley had contacted me, and he goes, you know, the Filipino martial arts are really hot right now, and your name is starting to really gain a lot of momentum. And so I want to publish your book if you'll write it. And I go, sure. And then when they did the seminar of the gathering of all the Grand Masters in Arizona, I got called by Sam Buett, and he goes, yeah, I want you to come and teach. And he liked it so much that he actually invited me back a second time. And so we become friends, you know, because you got to remember, you got to just hold each other up. That's how we're going to get big. You know, the Filipino martial arts will grow, but we got to help each other so we all grow, not this guy and then hold that guy back. If everybody grows, everybody prospers. If you ingrain it, it's going to be easy for you. You know, leaving a legacy behind, you know, yeah, I think I've started on that. I've been inducted into just about every single martial arts Hall of Fame that is in existence right now. I think the only one I'm not in is in the Black Belt Hall of Fame. All the other ones I'm in it. You know, I've been written about in books, magazines, TV shows, news articles, and of course, my book, The Secret Art of DEROBIO Escrima, available at Amazon. Okay, and again, you know, there I go into the history and some of the basic techniques all the way up to advanced student level, you know, not assistant instructor, but advanced student. And, you know, if you follow the stuff in the book, it's easy to learn. And if you learn it, you know, you can come and test under me if you know the information in the book. And just know that everybody has something to offer. You don't gain anything by putting other martial arts down, okay? Your goal, everybody's goal, should be to lift each other up, because we're always going to be stronger united than not. Let's get rid of the crab mentality of trying to pull each other down and lift each other up. That's what I want to be known for. I want to see them to continue to grow and continue to show and share, because that's how we all get better. We don't get better by holding back. We get better by sharing, right? If I share something with you that you weren't exposed to before, and you go, wow, I never thought I could do that kind of stuff. Now I'm going to start experimenting, right? And everybody's going to get better. And so I just want to see everybody hold each other up, and I want to see, you know, the Derobio family grow alongside all the other families, because we are a family. Like I said, I just want the art to be known, but I also want it to be known for the humbleness, you know. Don't go out there boasting how bad you are, you know, right? Anybody can say I'm bad, you know. It's just, you know, it's the person that is humble and quiet. Master Pedoy had a saying, many are like the surf in the ocean. It's very loud when the surf comes in, but when you go into the deep water, it's silent. So be silent. because that's where you're deadly. You should be able to just rely on what you know, not the title.